Hey there, and welcome to another book talk with Mrs. Tate. Today we're looking at another Australian author, Catherine Jinks, and her novel, A Very Unusual Pursuit. Catherine has written lots of works over the years, and I was present at a talk that she gave not long ago on her imagination and how she creates her characters and stories. Most of it using music. She puts on a nice piece of music, no words, and just closes her eyes and just lets her mind wander. And that's how she creates her characters. What you hear in the music, you create visions or characters or storylines or actions in your head, and that's how she works on creating her characters. Really interesting. Anyway, this one, let me read the back of it to you. It says, monsters have been infecting London's dark places for centuries, eating any child who gets too close. That's why 10-year-old Bertie McAdam works for Alfred Bunce, the boggler. With her beautiful voice and dainty looks, Bertie is the bait that draws boggles from their lairs so that Alfred can kill them. One life-changing day, Alfred and Bertie are approached by two very different women. Sarah Pickles runs a local gang of pickpockets. 3 of them have disappeared. Edith Eames is an educated lady who's studying the mythical beasts of English folklore. Both of them threaten the only life Bertie has ever known. But Bertie soon realizes she needs Mrs. Eames' help to save her master, defeat Sarah Pickles, and vanquish an altogether nastier villain. So, this book reminds me of the time frame of Oliver Twist. It doesn't actually name a period of when this is, but with orphans living on the streets of London wearing rags, and a vast difference between educated gentry class and the lowly class. It reminds me a lot of that period of in Oliver Twist. Okay, there is workhouses where the orphans live and get put to work. And as it says, Sarah Pickles runs pickpockets, orphans that she picks up off the street and makes them work for her. Okay, even Bertie admits in the book that she's never ever had a bath, and she's 10. She only has one set of clothes and was literally plucked out of the sewers after her mother abandoned her. So it was definitely not a very good life for the lowly class back in this time in London, which is quite close to reality in terms of what happened in London. Her and Alfred live in a one-room dwelling with rotting linen as a bed and one stool each to sit on. That's all they've got. Okay. And back in this time frame, there was a belief in monsters and magic, superstitious magic. And together in this book, all the monsters are termed as bogglers. Okay. So as it says, Bertie is the bait used to flush out the child-eating monsters. Out of their hiding places, which, mind you, are also really in homes where people live. These monsters also live. And Bertie's job is to act like a sweet, innocent child and draw the monsters out as the bait. I mean, they are trying to eat her, so Alfred has to be really quick and clever in order to catch or kill the bogglers before they get Bertie. Okay, so just when you think that you've worked out the direction that Bertie's life is about to take, wham, a massive curveball is thrown at her and Alfred, and the story takes an unexpected turn. I literally had my mouth gaping when I read it. What? Where did that come from? So, once I got this book, I found out that it is the first in a series. However, it doesn't end on a cliffhanger, and you could certainly end the book there without feeling like you need to read number 2 and number 3 in order to complete the story. Okay, but if enough students want to read the second and third one, I can certainly get them in if that's an option. Okay, this book also reminds me of a book I read as a teenager by Raymond E. Feist called Fairy Tale, which was all about creatures and monsters living in the dark corners of your house, your room, your wardrobe, and coming out to attack you or eat you when you're not looking. And that was the reason. It scared the bejeebers out of me. And that was the reason my father had to install a delayed light in my room so that I could turn my light off and get into bed before the light actually turned off on the ceiling. Because I was so scared of going to bed in the dark because of all the monsters that I'd read in this fairy tale. This is very similar in regards to monsters living in the dark corners of our houses and coming out to eat children when they're not really watching. So if you have a bit of a fear of the dark or a bit of a soft constitution, this is probably not the book for you. But I loved it, and I found it really gripping. It kept me wanting to read more and more and more, hence I read it in about 2 or 3 days, and just kept going in terms of constant activity. There was no dead time within the book. So it's a really great read, and one that I would recommend if you want adventure and action and something happening all the time. So put a reserve in today and you can pick it up the next time you're at school. So happy reading.